Today, I'll talk about 5 assets that you should not put in a trust and how it affects your home and your legacy. This is not legal advice. As a realtor with over 25 years of experience, I'm sharing what I've seen go wrong in real life home sales and situations. The 5 assets that, if added to your living trust, could cause more harm than it would protect you, including unexpected taxes, legal delays, unexpected liabilities, and even problems when selling your home or going through a probate after all. Again, I'm not an attorney, I'm just sharing some experiences. So after watching this video, if you have any specific questions or concern, please contact your attorney or your financial planner or your accountant. Thank you. Starting with number 1, a lot of attorneys do not recommend that we put annuities or retirement accounts or 401ks in a trust. After all, beneficiaries are already named in those instruments or in those forms. So if there is a primary beneficiary or a secondary beneficiary, if something happens to you, then your beneficiary is already going to get those assets. So you don't really need to put those in a living trust again. Retirement accounts like IRAs and 401ks are already protected and are designed to pass directly to your chosen beneficiaries. Putting them in a trust could cause major tax issues. One of the reasons they mention this because you may be already a beneficiary, but when it goes to a trust, then it creates a change of title, change of ownership, and that may trigger tax issues because these items, IRAs, 401ks, annuities, can only be distributed after a certain age without any penalties. So check with your financial planner and accountant before you include those in a living trust. The second thing they don't recommend you put in a trust is your life insurance policies. I myself have several policies. I have a whole life insurance policy, I have a universal life policy, and I have term life policies. In fact, I've been paying into this for the last 25 years. But one of the reasons they don't recommend you put them in a trust because, for example, with my life insurance policy, my wife is the primary beneficiary, and then the secondary beneficiaries are my kids. So if something happens to me, or should something happen to me, my wife or the beneficiaries will automatically get those assets that are in the life insurance policy. Furthermore, the type of life insurance policy I have, when the money is passed on, they are tax-free. So I've already done my homework on taxes. So they recommend not to put life insurance policies in living trust. What they say is that trust-owned policies may require more documentation, and if the trust language isn't clear or is outdated, it can stall everything when it times come for that money to be distributed should something happen. As an example, one client's policy was left to a trust created years before. The trustee had changed. The wording did not match, so when it came time for the payout, it was delayed by several months, and they actually had to hire an attorney to go through all those changes in the trustee's name and the title policy's name and the trust policy name. So it was a hassle, even though they got the money, but they had to go through some hoops to get it there. By the way, the item number 5 has to do with real estate, and that is the most important item I'm going to talk about, so please watch till the end. The third thing they don't recommend putting in a trust is your vehicles, be it boats, trucks, RVs, or even your regular cars. Those are depreciating items, and they are very easy to transfer should there be a death or something happens. Vehicles can be transferred to your name without going through a probate. It is very easy to transfer a vehicle. All you need is a death certificate, take it to the DMV with some additional paperwork, and it can be transferred. The reason the attorneys don't highly recommend putting vehicles in a trust, several reasons, but one reason I can give you that I heard about is that let's say the vehicle is in a trust and that vehicle was involved in an accident and it was our fault. Then what happened is the attorney on the other side will find out that the vehicle is owned in a trust, and guess what? Once they find out that there's money or there's a trust, they will go after that in a bigger way than just on a regular vehicle owned by an individual. So trust on vehicles can trigger additional liabilities. The other asset they don't recommend you put in a trust are joint accounts. Let's say you're married, so your account with your wife or your account with your husband. If you have a joint account with a spouse or adult child, that account typically passes directly to the surviving co-owner. including in your trust, can create confusion and potential conflict between the co-owner and the trust beneficiaries. This is especially problematic when the trust says one thing and the account title says another. And now you have to go through more paperwork and even hire an attorney to sort things out, depending on how complicated the situation is and what kind of account and title you're holding on. I was talking to a seller once, and they had a joint account with their daughter. But when something happened to my client, I remember talking to one seller. He had a joint account with their daughter, but the trust said the funds should be split between all siblings. You can tell what happened between those siblings and the daughter. There was mass confusion, attorneys involved, and it took years to sort things out. So be careful when you have joint accounts, and then on top of that, you put those in a living trust. And to make things worse, the sale of the home was delayed by years. The fifth item is real estate when it is not done right. As a realtor, I see a lot of situations and problems when it comes to holding title of your house or your investment properties. A lot of homeowners think their house is protected just because they have a trust. But unless the deed was retitled into the trust's name and done correctly, the house is not legally in a trust. I had done my trust about 15 years ago, and the attorney was referred to me, and he was a very, very busy attorney. And I had some guidance on doing the trust, so we told him what to do, what not to do. After we got the trust and after I paid him $2,500 back then, as a realtor, I checked my title after a month on my house. And guess what? It was still on me, or it was still on my wife and my name. So I called the attorney, told him that, hey, I did a trust. I paid you $2,500. You were supposed to transfer the title from us to the living trust. And he did not do that. Finally, after my second call, he did do it. Not that they did not want to do it. They were so busy, they just forgot to do it in my case. So finally, my house was on the trust. So one of the biggest issues with the trust is you have a trust and you have your house in the trust, but the house is not in a trust. So make sure it is recorded under the trust name. And that is one of the biggest common problems we see in real estate today. The problem is if the trustee passes away or if there is no successor trustee named, the home can be sold without court approval. And that means probate, delays, cost, and frustrations. So if you have a trust, it's a wise thing to make sure the house is also in the trust. When it comes to selling a home, one of the biggest issues we have is when it comes to title. So what we recommend is if you're thinking about selling, or even if you're not thinking about selling, you should check your title on your home, what we call preliminary title report. Your realtor can help you, your lender can help you, your attorney can help you. Pull it out, make sure the title is what it's supposed to be, and always check it, especially if you're selling. We've had cases where we put the home for sale and then we find out it's in a trust or it's in a different form of title, or mom's signature is missing or the daughter's signature is missing, and all these things come up and it delays escrow not only on your selling side, but if you're moving, then you have a delay on the moving side too. So one of the biggest issues in selling homes are title issues and of course liens. On a side note, I wanted to let you know that I did a video 3 weeks ago and it has a lot of momentum on it, a lot of questions on it, a lot of comments on it. You may want to check it out. It talks about the insane increase in mortgage payments and how the home sellers or homeowners cannot pay the mortgage and to the brink of losing their home. So please check it out. You'll find out something that's new and brewing as we move on. It's funny that these days, because of the skyrocketing insurance cost, skyrocketing property taxes, skyrocketing HOA fees, homeowners associations, these homeowners sadly are on the brink of losing their homes. Who knew this would be the cause? Living trusts are good tools, but they have to be used the right way. If you're thinking about selling your home and you're not sure your trust is ready or your title issues may be there, don't wait until you're in escrow to find out. Call your realtor, check the titles, check your trust, talk to your attorneys, your accountants, and financial planners, because there's a lot of delays when it comes to home selling, and issues like title, trust, liens, etc. pop up all the time. It is a common thing that we see all the time. If you would like a free guide on how to sell your home, there's a link below. Fill out the form and I'll send you the free guide. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike Patel, Home Savvy Central. Sell smart, gain more.